Hey everyone, Sabre here and welcome back to our next episode of the New Japan Pro Wrestling Universe mode. This is our second big episode. We've got some big matches for you this evening, including a #1 contendership for the Tag Team Championships, an open challenge for the Never Openweight Championship, and a big submission match in the main event. Here we go then, here's our first match then, a #1 contendership for the Tag Team Championships as Evil and Sanada of LIJ take on the Killer Elite Squad of Suzuki Gun. And first of all then, we have got Evil and Sanada of LIJ. And decent Evil. Sanada is not as perfect as I would like him to be, but still pretty good, and this is their big chance here this evening. And here then comes Davey Boy Smith Jr. and Lance Archer of the Killer Elite Squad. Both looking okay. I mean, they're not perfect cores, but they're pretty good. You can tell who they are by looking at them, can't you? That's the main thing. But the big question is not going to be how good they look. The real question is going to be how well they do in the ring and whether they will march on to become the #1 contender for Gallows and Anderson's Tag Team Championships, which will be taking place, of course, at our first pay-per-view coming up for you. I believe it's episode... I don't know when it's going to be, actually. I figured it out. I know I figured it out. It's about... I think it's like 9, 10, 11, I think it will be, or something on them sort of lines, or 10, 11, 12, or 11, 13, 14, something on them sort of lines. So that'd be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to getting this Universe mode to the first pay-per-view. We're sort of building towards some things. Of course, we crowned Suzuki as the #1 contender in our previous episode, and now crowning our tag team champions here. Like I said in the intro, we are also going to have a Never Openweight Championship match here this evening. Like I said, I really want to utilize it the way that it was originally designed in New Japan, which was a way to really bring new stars into the company or build other stars up to the next level. So it'll be interesting to see who cashes that in here this evening to face off against Kota Ibushi. But I feel like we can have a lot of fun matches with that one. There's a lot of people. It's all down to... what's the best way of putting it? It's all down to interpretation, really, isn't it? I mean, who we would class as someone who could go for that championship. The fact that Ospreay and Ibushi were going for it in real life gives us some sort of indication. I would say people like, I don't know, maybe Zack Sabre Jr. would be the right sort of level. Maybe people looking to step out of the cruiserweight division up into the heavyweight division would be interesting. Of course, people that don't actually wrestle for this company. Potential people we could add to the roster as well. So a lot of cool stuff. Maybe people who want to leave WWE as well. That could be interesting. But there could be a lot of interesting people that will want to leave WWE and maybe move to New Japan. I think that used to be the case, but I think now, with things the way they are, I feel like AEW might be the place people go. I think Sanada's very, very dark. I think he needs to be a couple of shades lighter than what he actually is here. I don't know, I might be wrong. I feel like Sanada needs to be bigger as well. I feel like he's a lot bigger. It's amazing me to think that he's the same Sanada he is, isn't he? I want to make sure that's correct, because I don't want to look incredibly stupid here, but this is the same Sanada who wrestled for TNA, isn't it? Or is it a completely different Sanada? Because it looks like it's a completely different person, but I'm sure it's the same. I mean, he seems to have taken a lot of steroids since then. I mean, he seems to have gained a lot of muscle since then. So I'm sure it... I don't know. I'm going a bit mad. I'm sure it is, but now I'm really second-guessing myself. Evil, nice. Slamming Lance Archer down. There is the pin. 1, 2... Wow, that's it. Wow, that was a short match, wasn't it? LIJ become the #1 contenders. That surprised me. I really thought Killer Elite Squad would have this, you know. I really thought Killer Elite Squad would have this, but LIJ, Evil there taking down Lance Archer, and Evil gets the victory. And Evil and Sanada are going on at our first pay-per-view then. Oh my god. Same good old cutscene. Sanada has disappeared. Well done, game. I'll add this to the never-ending amount of bugs that we have. So good victory there for LIJ. They'll be moving forward. Like I said, they'll take on Gallows and Anderson at our first pay-per-view for those IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championships. A short match, but you don't get paid by the hour, do you, in these matches? The following match is scheduled for one fall, and it is for the Never Openweight Championship. Introducing first, the champion. And here comes your champion then, Kota Ibushi, looking to make his first defense of his Never Openweight Championship. But who is going to be cashing this in? So who's this going to be cashing in then? This is the English question. Who's going to be cashing in this opportunity at the Never Openweight Championship? Ooh, hello. It's Brian Pillman Jr. Someone who's not part of this roster at this point in time, but has decided this is his opportunity to really go for this. And who knows, this could be a big moment for him. Brian Pillman Jr., welcome to New Japan Pro Wrestling. And that's what it's all for then, the Never Openweight Championship. It's going to be Kota Ibushi's first defense against Brian Pillman Jr. It's a pretty decent core, actually. It's not the best core in the world, but it's not terrible. And I really think this guy would suit... I feel like he would suit New Japan pretty well. I'm not quite sure if he's... Is he at that level yet? That's the question. Of course, trained by Lance Storm. What's he done so far then? Various promotions... So he only really started wrestling in 2017, so he's still very early in his career, so I'm sure he will have an opportunity. He made his debut for Combat Zone Wrestling in January 2018. Only a few days ago, actually, wasn't it? Pillman was defeated in that match by submission. They have one more match in CZW in a tag team match. Teamed with Teddy Hart and faced off against Anthony Bennett and Jimmy Lloyd. So he's very, very early in his career. He's joined the new faction alongside Davey Boy Smith and Teddy Hart as the New Hart Foundation. So it's going to be interesting to see how he progresses moving forward. This is a real big moment for him. And of course, hoping to follow in his father's footsteps. Brian Pillman, I think, is one of the most underrated wrestlers ever, in my opinion. Wrestled in a lot of places. Started off in Canada in 1986. NWA, of course, as well. Part of the Hollywood Blondes. Alongside Stone Cold Steve Austin. Was in ECW for a year, which was an interesting piece of work, wasn't it? With Talent Exchange with WCW. Part of the New Four Horsemen for a year as well. Went back to ECW. Wrestled in WWE/WWF until 97. Where, of course, he died, unfortunately. It was weird. I've seen it, and I didn't take it into account at the time. I remember watching the show, and Brian Pillman was scheduled for a match. It was In Your House 18, Bad Blood. And, yeah, he was scheduled for a match against Dude Love. I've got it here in front of me. So the show got close to bell time at 7 PM. Pillman had not arrived. Steve Austin relayed to Jim Cornette that instructed to find the whereabouts of Pillman. Cornette also contacted the Budgetel Motel in Bloomington, Minnesota, where Pillman had been staying the previous night, and was told by the receptionist that Pillman was found dead in the hotel room by the maids earlier that day. He was 35 years old. He had a heart attack. Which I know a lot of people are going to straight away assume steroids, but it wasn't. He did have a previous undetected condition. He had a heart disease, which was the same illness that led to his father's death as well. So it wasn't drug related or anything like that. But it's a shame. 35 years old. He was really taken down too early, really. I mean, well, he must have debuted very early. If he debuted in 86 and he died in 97 and he was 35 in 97, then he must have been about 24, 23 when he started. So it's interesting. I just really hope that Pillman Jr. can do well just to showcase the ability and keep his dad's name alive, because he was a fantastic wrestler. Say very underrated and never really got to the point where he got his big break. I mean, 35 is very young for wrestling. I think most wrestlers don't really start to hit their mainstream run until their mid-30s. I mean, there are some that peak much earlier, but yeah, it's a good chance here. This is a great place for him to be as well. I feel like it's obviously he's got a chance here, the Never Openweight Championship, but I feel like he's going to be a very interesting boost into the junior heavyweight division as well. I'd be interested to see if he aligns himself with any stables as well. I mean, instantly, I feel like Suzuki Gun would be interested with the link with Davey Boy Smith. Ibushi now, nice straight jacket German suplex, and there's the pin. 1, 2, only a 2 count. So, of course, Kota Ibushi looking for his first successful championship defense after winning the belt in a best 2 out of 3 falls match at Wrestle Kingdom against Will Ospreay. With that Phoenix splash, but knees were up by Pillman Jr. Nice clothesline there by Pillman Jr. Ibushi slowly back up to his feet, and there's the elbow in the knee. Nice right hand, and then into that. It's like a suplex, but in a I can't remember what it's called now. Oh my god! It nearly won the championship though. It almost won in the championship out of nowhere. Ibushi now in control. Oh. Big strikes to the back of the head. Ibushi now bringing... Oh, Pillman back up to his feet. And Ibushi's really stepping up the pressure now on Pillman Jr. Pillman Jr. nice jawbreak on Ibushi. Nice running neck break. So it's been a really good match actually, these two. Pillman Jr. really starting to showcase his ability as much as he possibly can to Ibushi. Of course, Pillman Jr. can't win this by counter. He won't win the championship, so I think he's probably best off going out there bringing Ibushi back in. But this shows he's still quite young in his career. Maybe not as experienced and doesn't have that sort of knowledge in the moment. I mean, it's obvious for me to say sat here now, but in the heat of the moment, in the middle of the match, you've got to think about these sort of things. And maybe Pillman just let that slip through his mind until the last moment. But it has given that opportunity for, obviously, Ibushi to rest. Now, Ibushi can win this by countout and would retain his championship. But Pillman's back in the ring. Both guys back up on their feet now. Pillman taking Ibushi into the corner. Nice splash. Throwing Ibushi back down to the mat. And Ibushi, well, rolling through, dropping Pillman face first into the mat as well. It's been a really good match between these two. Really enjoyed this one. Ibushi catches Pillman once again for the straight jacket German. Will it be enough this time? It's not. Wow. I'm not sure about you, but I feel like the referee there stopped counting before Pillman's shoulders left the mat. That's one for Matthew at Botchamania, that one. As Ibushi does take Pillman up, though, looking for the sit-out last ride. The Ibushi bomb. Too close to the ropes. There's the pin. 1, 2, and 3. It's a great win here for Kota Ibushi. Retains his championship, but it was a fantastic first showing of Brian Pillman Jr. And I think this is a fantastic signing into New Japan. And I feel like this is going to be a real good addition. I feel like it's a strong addition here, but I think the junior heavyweight division is really going to benefit from the introduction of Pillman. And there we go, though. Kota Ibushi, his first successful championship defense. I feel like this belt is going to be the one that might change hands the most, because we are going to do quite a lot of these open challenges moving forward. I like the idea of that, and I feel like it gives a real opportunity for a lot of people to get themselves a match, and we can really make some dream matches as well. And I've got some pretty nifty ideas in the future. I mean, Pillman Jr. I thought was a... well, I don't want to get big-headed, but I thought Pillman Jr. was a cracking idea, but that's just the tip of the iceberg of what I have planned moving forward. Right, main event time. And here we go then into our main event. Chris Jericho takes on Zack Sabre Jr. in a submission match. First of all then, here comes your United States champion here in New Japan Wrestling. It is Chris Jericho. And his opponent is going to be Zack Sabre Jr. rocking the heel move in this this universe mode at the moment, but we'll talk about that in a moment. So here we go, and this one is going to be a submission match. And if you don't know the history behind this one, essentially, during the G1 Climax Festival, these two guys were in the same group as each other. It was actually the very first match on the first well, it was about the third match on the first episode. We saw... at the beginning of the match, Zack offer a handshake to Jericho, and when Jericho went to accept it, Zack caught him with a sneak attack and got the advantage going through into the match. And then I believe Jericho went on to win the match anyway. Then Zack assaulted Jericho after the match. And that led to a bit of back and forth for the next few weeks, both of them getting involved in each other's matches, which ultimately led to Zack Sabre Jr. being eliminated from the competition. But Jericho was still able to qualify through the group and move on and win the United States Championship. But Jericho still wanted some retribution here against Zack Sabre Jr. This is a non-championship match. Like I said, Jericho is the United States Champion. This is a non-championship match. But who knows, a win here for Zack would definitely throw him into the championship picture. Not necessarily saying he would definitely be #1 contender, but he would definitely be involved in the championship picture, I would imagine. Nice stiff right hands there by Jericho into the face of Zack. Now taking him up. Well, Zack slides out the back. Clubbing blow to the back of Jericho. Zack sends Jericho into the corner, and then nice jumping boots in the corner. Jericho dropped. So, of course, submission match. I feel like both of these guys are very well versed in that. I mean, Zack is just an absolute submission king. Look at him here. Jericho's experience will help him really just pick apart Zack. But at the moment, Zack is the one in control. Just lock it in, lock after lock after lock on Jericho. And although he's not getting the tap out, what he is doing is he's just adding pain to the limbs and the joints of Jericho. And as time moves on, he finally does lock in that submission. It's going to make things a lot more painful. Jericho reverse neck breaker. Jericho, for some reason, not rocking his Omega Club or his Alpha Club gear today for some reason. Not quite sure why that is. Jericho is a massive signing for AEW, though, isn't it? I think Jericho's got the perfect thing there. He doesn't want to travel. Well, he's still working for New Japan as well as AEW, isn't he? But he doesn't really want to work WWE because there's too many dates. But he still wants to wrestle, so if AEW are promising guaranteed pay but not as many dates, then they're laughing, aren't they, really? I mean, WWE has guaranteed pay anyway, just not it's not equal pay, is it? It's a very... What they said in the press conference... I just want to say this actually quickly. What they said in the press conference is a little bit about the pay situation. Is a little bit... it's been taken out of context, I think. People are giving it more praise than it should be. They said something about the men and the women getting paid equally. Which is correct, as it should be. However, what should be looked into is the fact that you're going to get paid for your level on the card. So unless they've got women main eventing shows, the women are not going to get paid as much as some of the men. And that's the way it's going to be. If the women are mid-card in shows, they're going to get paid the same amount of money as the mid-card in men. That's for me, just makes sense. But when I've heard people saying, oh, they're paying everyone equally. They're not going to pay everyone equally. They're going to pay the men and women equally as they should be. But main eventers are going to get more money than openers, obviously. That's the way it should work. There's no way that you get paid for what you're worth. I mean, Jericho must be on a hell of a lot of money because Jericho is going to bring a lot of attention. He's going to bring a lot of merchandise. And you're not going to pay Jericho the same as what you're going to pay somebody else. And Neville's probably the same as well, to be honest. Or Pac. You used to call him Neville now, aren't I? That's in. I love the fact that the Pac is there. That's a massive signing. I was surprised, though, because I thought he might end up at New Japan, Pac. I really did. I thought he would be the perfect person to enter this new era of Bullet Club. Jericho now wrenching back at the neck of Zack. And again, just like Zack earlier on, he's not going to get a pinfall. But not going to get a pinfall, of course, that's a submission match. He's not going to get a tap out from this maneuver. But what he is doing is he's just exerting pain into the body of Zack so that when the moment does come, then there's a possibility that Zack will tap. Jericho now front chancing on Zack, who catches him with a boot in the gut that went for the running knee, but Jericho caught the leg. Now Jericho catches Zack, takes him down, and Jericho perfectly rotates Zack so he's as far away from the ropes as possible, and the walls of Jericho are locked in. Is Jericho going to get the victory over Zack Sabre Jr.? No. Zack able to roll himself back through, and then drops Jericho into the pin, but it doesn't matter, of course, it's a submission match. Zack now drops the outside with Jericho's stiff right hand. Sends Jericho back into the ring. Jericho stiff elbow right in the face of Zack, and now Jericho going to take Zack up into a butterfly backbreaker. So to make things a bit more interesting when he does come, like I said, to hit that walls of Jericho. Zack with a boot in the face. Getting quite vicious this match now. Stiff right hand by Zack, knocking Jericho off the apron to the bottom. To the bottom? To the ground? Bottom's a weird phrase to use, isn't it? And Zack here, the fans booing Zack here. Like I said, very much a heel character in this universe. His attacks on Jericho have not made the crowd on his side. Octopus stretch now locked in. Interesting about the submissions, you see the bottom there. Zack's entire body weight is on Jericho. He's not touching the ground. So Jericho's supporting all of Zack's body weight. Such a painful maneuver. Zack dropping Jericho around into a butterfly suplex. See, Zack though struggling to get back up to his feet. This match has taken a toll on him. As I always say, when you start to bleed, it's just liquid energy running from your face. And it is very, very tiring. And wow. Really? Jericho tapped out to that? How the hell did that happen? He must have taken some serious damage. That there might have done it. That butterfly suplex dropping Jericho on the back of his neck. That could have been some serious damage locked in there. But Zack Sabre Jr. has just got a submission victory over the United States champion. That's interesting. So there was the octopus stretch again, working that neck down of Jericho. And Jericho ended up tapping out to what was a relatively simple submission hold, but the damage done earlier in the match essentially must have weakened Jericho enough to have to tap out to such a simple maneuver. It must have been that painful. And you see Zack there just walking straight over the back of Jericho, just adding more insult to injury. Wow. Interesting then. Very interesting night. We've seen new tag team #1 contenders crown in the shape of LIJ. We've seen a new addition to the New Japan roster in Brian Pillman Jr., who was absolutely fantastic in his losing effort against Kota Ibushi. And now Zack Sabre Jr. with a submission victory over the current United States champion. I feel like Zack should be involved in the championship picture here, you know. Do we just gift him the #1 contendership straight away, or should he have to earn it? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how things progress over the next few weeks, actually, I think. Either way, that is the end of this video. I hope you have enjoyed it. Of course, if you have, then please do hit a like and of course subscribe if you want to see some more. I've been Shabby Gamer. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you very soon for our next episode of the NJPW Universe Mode. Bye.